Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome to another episode of Soul Alchemy with Danielle Lynn. In this episode, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the perception of lack. And I'm going to share with you a few perspectives that are really going to help you connect to your well-being and your sense of being the powerful creator you are right now. That is definitely some powerful alchemy. So, let's just jump right in. What is lack? Lack is that feeling of not having enough. Lack is that feeling that there's something we want that we can't have. And lack is always, always, always created from the inside out. Now, that might sound like a really surprising statement to you, because you might say, well, that's all well and good, Danielle, but I can look at my bank account and see that I have lack. Or I can look at my house and see it's not what I want it to be. Or I can look at my body or my relationship or my work or anything it is you feel lack about, and I can point to it and show you factually that it's not enough. But here's the first place I want to invite you to look. All lack is perception-based. It's perception-based on a comparison. The only way we can perceive lack is to perceive abundance. Wow, that was so powerful I had to sneeze at that statement. So the only way we can perceive lack is to also perceive abundance. And the idea that we have lack comes from this perception that the abundance is over there and the lack is over here. Now, what if instead of labeling or judging the amount, the whatever it is you had, what if it was just observed? Instead of saying, oh, I'm so poor, I only have $100 in my account, I have $100 in my account. Then it goes from a judgment that's based around a static perception to simply an observation. The amount you have or don't have is not in and of itself an emotionally charged perception. It only becomes an emotionally charged perception based on how we feel about it. For example, let's say for you, $1,000 was a lot. You're like, wow, I have $1,000 in my bank. That's amazing. But let's say you were a millionaire before and now you have $1,000 in your bank only. You go, oh, I only have $1,000 in my bank. You see, it's based on your perception of what you should have, or what you think you should have, or what you perceive that you need in order to feel abundant, that actually changes the emotional charge about what you're perceiving. This is one of the biggest keys of soul alchemy. If there was even just one, it would be how powerful your perceptions are in shaping your reality. And as humans, we all do this. Every single one of us has these lives we live, and it can be so simple, so easy to start to have a certain expectation for our life. And if the expectation sways one way or another, we can either go, wow, that was really good, or oh no, that was terrible. So here's where the shift happens, as it were. Again, the first step is within. The first step is always, 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 I like to say, acknowledge that you are the creator of your reality. What this does is this takes us from the victim standpoint. It takes us from feeding stories or thoughts that something out there happens to us and we have to suffer it, and it puts us back in the driver's seat. And it's okay if you're not quite sure how you're the creator of your reality. It's okay if you seem to have a lot of proof that you don't. Even your willingness to say, you know, I probably am the creator of my reality, or even your willingness to explore it. Okay, I'm going to observe how I'm the creator of my reality, is a huge, huge step to connecting you with how powerful you truly are. Okay, so once you make that choice, the next step is to begin to observe. Observe your feelings about a topic. You know, maybe start with something that doesn't have a huge emotional charge, but maybe has a little emotional charge. Start with observing what is around you and really being conscious of how you feel when you observe it. Like you might look and, oh, that's a chair. Oh, that's a this. oh, that's me in the mirror. And maybe when you look in the mirror, maybe you have a little emotional charge. The first thing I say to that is, if you feel something, honor that. So many of us are in such a rush to change our feelings, we skip over the part where the feelings are communicating with us about what we are holding on to that is not true with all we are. This is actually the most exciting part about feelings. If you've actually read Byron Katie's The Work, and she's an author, and you can Google her at some point. If you've ever read her work, she takes you through this work of identifying what's true or not true in your reality. And you start to see how many of your perceptions are built around these ideas of what's true, but most of the time, they're just beliefs, they're just stories that are not actually based in reality, but are more based in how we feel and perceive reality. So when you start to acknowledge your feelings, what you're acknowledging, what you're taking ownership for, what you're paying attention to is your inner reality, which is so key because your inner reality is what creates your experience of your outer reality. I like to say the inner reality is the filter through which the outer reality is created. The outer reality could be this very plain, boring looking experience, but your inner reality puts a unique filter over the whole experience. And when we actually want to change something in our outer reality, where our most power is by going within and becoming aware of where we are fighting ourselves internally about our outer reality. Now, for some people, that's an intense thing to consider because we believe so strongly that if that thing out there just changed, we'd feel better. But what ends up happening for many people is they go, well, when I get that relationship, I'll feel better. But oftentimes it feels good at first. They'll be in the relationship and then maybe fighting happens, or maybe they still feel unfulfilled and they wonder why. And they keep looking for the reason out there to make it better, but they can never really seem to find it. It's like you have this endless hole that you're just trying to fill with something, and the something is always one step away. And some people try and fill it with money, or making their body look a certain way, or achievements, or fame. And what we are really ultimately searching for is feeling whole, is giving ourselves permission to feel whole right now. And the stories we create about lack are the stories we've created that we believe we need in order to feel whole. So in other words, if I created a story of lack around money and I said, oh, well, I just need like $10 million and then I will be the person I want to be, then I have given my feeling of lack a image, a picture, an avatar. But what ends up happening is it's not that money really has the power to change me, it's that my inner powerful creator has projected this image, this powerful image of a savior onto that money, and the pain I feel about not having that money is directly proportional to how capable I feel of achieving that as well. Because there's a whole ball of web to tangle in that. Because there's the projected image we think we have of the Savior, there's our responsibility we feel to get it, there's how capable or incapable we feel about it, there's how we feel about receiving it, right? So rather than walking and worrying about all those things, I'd like to offer you this place of peace and this place of perspective. Because the first thing I'll say, and this might sound strange to you, it's perfectly okay to want $10 million, $20 million, the perfect relationship, the perfect body, whatever you want is okay. It's actually more than okay, it's kind of exciting. Who doesn't want to create cool experiences, whatever that looks like to you? The difference is when we feel lack and when we feel not whole, and we make those experiences our savior, we start operating from a place of victimhood rather than from that place of incredible, powerful creator that you already are. Because here's the whole mind trip. The whole mind trip is that ultimately at your core, you are all those things that you seek. And it's only in your projecting your power over there that you create this illusion within yourself that's reflected to you in your reality that you don't have that thing. I know, that was a bit trippy right there. But I would encourage you to maybe watch this video even just one more time and really allow yourself to digest that message, because ultimately what I'm sharing with you are these key points. Your feelings are completely valid. It's not an idea of like, oh, you shouldn't feel that way because you're abundant and a powerful creator. Your feelings are perfectly valid, and I actually say acknowledge your feelings, embrace your feelings. Your feelings are pointing you home. They're showing you what is false, because you know when you're feeling bad, whatever you're focusing on, whatever you're thinking about is complete bull. But the way you feel is completely valid. And when you embrace that feeling and you welcome it and you embrace that uncomfortable sensation rather than trying to change it or push it away, you are doing powerful alchemy. You are doing the alchemy of a master, which you are. And when you embrace that, you start to see things from the perspective of you don't need to fix things out there. All that you're asking yourself to do is look within yourself and see what stories you're repeating that aren't true to all you are. If this video has helped you in some way, really I want to encourage you to like it, to share, to comment. I feel I'm gonna talk a bit more on this topic because it's definitely a big one to explore. But I know that on some level, if you've really opened yourself up to this video, if you've really connected with yourself, there was some really beautiful gold in here for you. And no matter where you are, I want to assure you, you are right where you need to be on your path. This is the best part of being you. I love you so much, and thank you for connecting with me now and always. I also have some links for you in the description, and as always, if you want some books or courses or to connect with me, just visit daniellelynn.com. All right, we'll talk soon. I love you so much.